Welcome to our first South Park recap and analysis, where we dive into the most iconic moments of each episode and uncover the messages the series leaves us. Today, we kick things off with the very first episode, Cartman Gets an Anal Probe. Ready to immerse yourselves in the absurdity and satire only South Park can deliver. The episode begins on a cold winter morning. The kids are gathered at the bus stop, singing a song while they wait. Their voices blend with the sound of the icy wind and the crunch of snow beneath their feet. Everything seems peaceful until Ike, Kyle's younger brother, hurriedly walks up to them. When Kyle sees him, he's visibly annoyed and confronts him. He scolds Ike for following him to the bus stop, clearly irritated. Ike, unsure how to respond, simply murmurs something odd. Babachi. The moment feels awkward until Cartman rudely intervenes, as always. He tells Ike that Kyle is right. He can't follow him everywhere, and compares him to a toy. This angers Kyle, who yells at Cartman not to talk to his brother like that. Stan, confused by Cartman's comment, asks what he means by calling Ike a comfort toy. Kyle, even more annoyed, admits he doesn't know, but says Cartman probably doesn't either. Hurt in his pride, Cartman insists he does know, but when Kyle presses him to explain, he refuses. In the end, no one understands the argument, and they all end up laughing at the situation. The tension eases when Kyle decides to pick up Ike, and in one swift move, flips him, causing Cartman to fall over. Stan, impressed, tells Kyle that was awesome. Kyle, with a satisfied grin, replies that it's nothing and tells Stan to watch this. He tells Ike to get ready because he's going to try a football move. Kyle leans toward his younger brother and with a serious expression says, "Kick the baby." But Ike warns, "Don't kick the baby." However, the warning doesn't seem to matter much as Kyle immediately picks him up like a football and kicks him with force. A few steps away, Cartman yawns loudly, catching Stan's attention. Curious, Stan asks, "Didn't you sleep well last night?" Cartman, in a tired and slightly irritated tone, replies that he's been having nightmares. Kyle, intrigued, presses further. What kind of nightmares? With a mix of annoyance and drama, Cartman begins to recount his experience. He was sleeping peacefully in his room when, all of a sudden, a blue light came through his window. His bedroom door slowly opened, and strange beings took him to a dark place. There, according to his story, aliens with big heads and black eyes tried to operate on him. Stan, shocked, interrupts. Those were the visitors. Cartman freezes for a moment before reacting with palpable nervousness. Shaking his head, he denies it vehemently. "That's a lie. It was just a nightmare. My mom told me so." But his friends aren't convinced. With a mix of excitement and fear, they explain that the visitors are real, that they abduct people, and that they also take cows for their experiments. Frustrated and increasingly agitated, Cartman shouts, "Shut up! You're just trying to scare me, and it's not going to work." The tense moment is abruptly interrupted by the arrival of a green car parking nearby. It's the school chef, always charismatic and with his deep, distinctive voice. The group greets him enthusiastically and asks what's for lunch that day. With his characteristic smile, Chef lists the menu, burgers and buttered noodles. However, Chef quickly changes the subject and with a conspiratorial tone asks, "Did you hear about what happened with the aliens last night?" Kyle points at Cartman mischievously, saying, "The fat one had something to do with them." The comment makes Cartman even more nervous. Trying to stay calm, he hurriedly denies it again. "I'm not fat, I'm big boned. Besides, it was just a dream, nothing more." But Chef, paying little attention to Cartman's protests, continues. "Did you see the ones with big heads and black eyes?" Cartman's face pales upon hearing the description, which perfectly matches his story. Stan, seizing the moment, adds mockingly, "Bet they took you to their ship last night." Cartman, unable to hide his terror, is left speechless as Chef, with his usual nonchalant expression, throws out an unexpected question. "And did they give you a prostate exam?" The kids fall silent for a moment, eyebrows furrowed and faces filled with confusion. Finally, Kyle breaks the silence. "What's a prostate exam?" Chef smirks playfully and explains in a teasing tone. "It's when they use a big device and stick it up your butt." Kyle, completely shocked, turns to look at Cartman with wide eyes. "Cartman, did they give you one of those?" Cartman, visibly nervous, waves his hands as if trying to push the idea away. "No, why would they do something like that to me?" But Stan quickly jumps into the conversation, pointing at him with a mocking grin. "Oh, they totally did. I bet they stuck something up there." Cartman's patience runs out at that moment. Red with fury, he starts arguing with them, desperately trying to deny their accusations while his friends laugh uncontrollably. Chef, ignoring the chaos, suddenly turns serious and warns them. Alright kids, I'm heading to the cafeteria now, but be careful, and most importantly, keep an eye on the fat one. He might be under alien control. Cartman opens his mouth to retort, but stops when he sees Chef turn and walk away. On the back of his shirt is an image that leaves Cartman frozen, the face of an alien with large black eyes, and underneath it, the word believe. Panic washes over Cartman's face as Kyle approaches with a smug smile and says, "Told you, Cartman, aliens are real. Too bad about what happened to your butt." Cartman, furious and red-faced, screams at the top of his lungs, "Nothing happened to my butt. It was just a dream, damn it." But Cartman's outburst of anger only makes Kyle look at him with a malicious smile. Before Cartman can get on the bus, Kyle, feigning innocence, asks, "If it was just a dream, then why are you walking so funny?" Cartman glares at him and snaps angrily, "Shut up, Kyle." As the kids start boarding the bus, Kyle turns to his little brother, who's still glued to him like a shadow. Frustrated, he pleads, "Can you stop following me already?" The little one doesn't respond, just stares at him stubbornly. Resigned, Kyle decides to make another play. He sets the ball in front of him and shouts, "Kick the baby." With a mischievous grin, he prepares his best football move, determined to get rid of his brother once and for all. Once on the bus, the kids greet the driver, but she, visibly irritated, yells at them, "Sit down, quick, we're already late." While Kyle searches for a seat, he glances out the window. His eyes widen when he sees Ike still standing at the bus stop, completely motionless and with a blank stare. "No way," Kyle murmurs incredulously as he keeps watching from his seat. But the chaos doesn't end there. The new bus driver, Mrs. Crabtree, is anything but kind. With her intimidating voice and her frequent command, "Sit down and shut up," the kids can't wait to get off the bus. As the bus drives away, Kyle sees Ike being held by two aliens, leaving the kids quite worried. Meanwhile, Officer Barbrady is investigating a cow mutilation at Bill Denkin's farm. The aliens, as always, are up to no good. They try to lure the cows with hay, but the cows don't fall for it. To make matters worse, the cows have been turned upside down. Barbrady, being the incompetent officer he is, sees nothing unusual about it. When helicopters fly overhead, Barbrady cluelessly remarks that they were pigeons. Logical as always. Back at school, Kyle asks Mr. Garrison to excuse him so he can go look for Ike. Mr. Garrison, of course, is no help and tells him to ask Mr. Hat, his puppet. The kids laugh, but Cartman immediately mocks Kyle. In a display of pure immaturity, he lets out a fire fart aimed at one of the kids in class. Pip Pirip. During lunch, Cartman continues with his fire farts, and when Wendy Testaberger approaches Stan, who, as Cartman puts it, is dying to kiss her, Stan gets so nervous that he vomits on her several times. Wendy, clearly unimpressed, leaves Stan a note asking him to meet her at Stark's Pond after school. The kids, worried about Kyle's brother, ask Chef what to do when no one believes you. Chef, true to form, begins singing a song that has nothing to do with the situation, a sensual ballad about making love by the fire. When the kids tell him the aliens took Ike, Chef panics and, instead of calming them, yells, "Go get him, damn it!" Meanwhile, Cartman still refuses to believe any of it. But when a strange robot appears behind him, he starts to realize that everything might be connected to his dream about the anal probe. The chaos escalates when, after a lightning strike hits Cartman, he starts singing "I Love to Singa." The kids, terrified, believe he's being controlled by the aliens. Cartman, of course, continues to deny everything, insisting he's not under mind control. Just then, a spaceship appears in the sky. Kyle demands the aliens return Ike, and they respond by striking Kenny with a star-shaped object. Everyone screams, "Oh my god, they killed Kenny!" Meanwhile, Cartman, as always, refuses to believe the aliens are real. After saying, "Screw you guys, I'm going home," he walks away, completely dismissing the situation. Determined to rescue Ike, the kids head to Stark's Pond, where they hope to meet Wendy. Though Kyle is visibly worried about his brother, he remains remains hopeful they can save him. Upon arrival, Wendy assesses the situation and, with a cunning look, suggests using Cartman as bait to lure the aliens. Without much hesitation, they tie Cartman to a tree, knowing his uncontrollable nature will do the rest. As expected, Cartman starts an endless series of fire farts while his friends step back, covering their noses. Suddenly, an 80-foot satellite dish emerges from his butt, prompting the aliens to finally reveal themselves. The extraterrestrials, with their characteristic appearance and demeanor, arrive, and surprisingly, Ike is rescued from the ship safe and sound. However, the aliens take a moment to explain to the cows why they had flipped them over, blaming Carl, who's new, an excuse that leaves everyone briefly confused. With the mission seemingly accomplished, the aliens decide to take everything back, starting with Cartman. Meanwhile, Officer Barbrady continues his investigation to locate the missing cows. After several unsuccessful searches, he finally finds them. The cows, using the alien device they discovered, decide to test its power of control, forcing the officer to sing. As expected, Barbrady has no choice but to belt out "I Love to Singa," while the cows surround him, dancing to the strange melody. The next morning, a scene straight out of an action movie unfolds at the bus stop as Cartman falls from the sky, landing spectacularly. With one of his eyes red and his clothes tattered, he gets up and, without missing a beat, begins describing his latest dream. In this one, he bizarrely contracts pink eye aboard the alien spaceship, accompanied by none other than Scott Baio. The situation, as absurd as ever, leaves the kids completely baffled, but not for long, because chaos and madness seem to be the norm in their daily lives. And so concludes this incredible first episode. But behind all this madness, what is South Park really trying to tell us? Behind the laughs and madness of this first episode, there are themes that reflect our attitudes as a society. For instance, Cartman's skepticism about his alien experience mirrors how some people dismiss uncomfortable truths they would rather not face. This raises the question, how often do we deny reality because it's more convenient or less embarrassing? Another interesting point is how authority figures, like Officer Barbrady or Mr. Garrison, represent institutional incompetence. South Park uses this satire to criticize how those who should lead or protect often become irrelevant in moments of need. Finally, Ike's rescue and the interactions between the friends highlight the importance of loyalty and teamwork even when the situation seems absurd. Though they constantly fight or mock each other, the boys prove they can come together when it truly matters. This episode reminds us that absurdity can also be a way to reflect. Sometimes, like Cartman, we find ourselves denying situations that are hard to accept, but embracing reality, no matter how strange it is the first step to solving any problem. Moreover, the way the boys work together to save Ike, despite their differences, shows us the value of friendship and cooperation. Even in a world as chaotic as South Park, there's room for solidarity and mutual support. Finally, South Park invites us not to take everything too seriously and to find humor in everyday life. Sometimes laughing at the absurd is the best way to move forward. What do you think about this first episode of South Park? Do you believe the aliens really did something to Cartman? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe for more South Park summaries and analysis. Remember, we'll see you next time on another journey into the world of irreverence and critique. See you soon.